The arrival. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as thousands of alien warships materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system. Their sleek obsidian hulls absorbed what little starlight reached this far from the sun, making them appear as mobile voids against the backdrop of distant stars. On Earth, chaos erupted. Emergency sirens wailed across every continent as governments scrambled to respond to the unprecedented threat. Military commanders barked orders, politicians made frantic calls, and civilians huddled around screens, desperate for information. In the heart of a hidden underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Helena Voss stood rigidly before a wall of holographic displays. Her steel-gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her weathered face bore the lines of someone who had spent decades preparing for this very moment. "Status report," she demanded, her voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. A young lieutenant, his face pale with a sheen of sweat, responded, "The alien fleet has taken up position just beyond Mars orbit, ma'am. We're detecting over 5,000 ships, ranging from frigate to dreadnought class. They're like nothing we've ever seen before." Voss nodded, her expression unchanging. "And the Defiant?" "The U.S. Defiant is in position, hidden behind Deimos. All systems are green, crew ready for action." For the first time, a ghost of a smile touched Voss's lips. "Good. It's time to see if all our sacrifices were worth it." As if on cue, every screen in the command center flickered, replaced by the image of an alien being. Its skin was a mottled green, with multiple eyes arranged in a circular pattern around a central mouth filled with needle-like teeth. "People of Earth," the creature spoke, its voice a grating screech that sent shivers down the spines of all who heard it. "We are the Zarkov Imperium, masters of 1,000 worlds. Your planet now belongs to us. Surrender immediately, and we may allow some of you to live as our servants. Resist, and we will turn your world to ash." The transmission cut off, leaving a deafening silence in its wake. General Voss turned to her staff, her eyes blazing with determination. "You all know what's at stake. We've spent the last 50 years preparing for this moment. It's time to show these aliens what humanity is truly capable of." She tapped a command into her wrist computer, opening a secure channel to the Defiant. "Captain Eli Chen, you are clear to engage. Give them hell." Millions of kilometers away, aboard the U.S. Defiant, Captain Eli Chen stood on the bridge of humanity's greatest secret. From the outside, the Defiant looked almost comically primitive compared to the sleek alien vessels. Its hull was pockmarked and scarred, resembling nothing so much as an old cargo freighter. But appearances, as the Zarkov were about to learn, could be deceiving. "All right, people," Chen addressed his crew, a diverse group of the finest minds Earth had to offer. "This is what we've trained for. Dr. Okafor, are the adaptive shields ready?" Dr. Amina Okafor, a brilliant Nigerian physicist, nodded from her station. "Yes, Captain. The quantum entanglement matrix is stable. We should be able to analyze and mimic any energy weapons they throw at us." "Good," Chen replied. "Lieutenant Gomes, plot an intercept course. Let's introduce ourselves." As the Defiant emerged from behind Deimos, the Zarkov fleet seemed to pause in confusion. Here was a single, battered-looking ship, daring to challenge their mighty Armada. Aboard the Zarkov flagship, Fleet Commander Vexcor chittered in amusement. "What is this? Do the humans mock us by sending such an insignificant vessel?" His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Zarthal, studied the readings with more caution. "My lord, I'm detecting some unusual energy signatures from the human ship. Perhaps we should." "Silence," Vexcor snapped. "I will not be made a fool of by these primitive beings. Destroy their pathetic excuse for a warship. Let it serve as an example of what happens to those who defy the Imperium." As the alien dreadnoughts powered up their weapons, Captain Chen allowed himself a small smile. "And so it begins," he murmured. "Tactical, prepare to receive incoming fire. Dr. Okafor, stand by with the adaptive shields. Let's show them what this pathetic ship can do. The void of space lit up as hundreds of energy beams lanced out from the Zarka fleet, all converging on the lone human vessel. For a moment, it seemed as if the Defiant would be vaporized instantly. But as the beams struck, something extraordinary happened. Instead of exploding or melting away, the Defiant's hull shimmered with an iridescent glow. The alien weapons appeared to splash harmlessly off its surface, like water off a duck's back. In the Defiant's engine room, Chief Engineer Hiroshi Tanaka worked furiously at his console. Adaptive shield holding at 92%, Captain. The quantum entanglement matrix is successfully replicating their energy signatures. Back on the bridge, Chen nodded in satisfaction. Excellent. Now, let's return the favor. Weapons, target the nearest dreadnought. Fire when ready. The Defiant's unassuming exterior suddenly split open, revealing a massive energy cannon that had been hidden within its hull. With a blinding flash, it fired a concentrated beam of the very same energy the Zarkov had just used against them. The alien dreadnought, caught completely off guard, had no time to raise its shields. The beam cut through its hull like a hot knife through butter, causing a chain reaction that tore the massive ship apart from the inside. On the Zarkov flagship, Vexcor watched in disbelief as one of his mightiest vessels disintegrated before his eyes. Impossible, he screeched. How can this be? Zarthal, his earlier caution now fully justified, replied grimly. It seems we have gravely underestimated these humans, my lord. As the debris of the destroyed dreadnought drifted through space, Captain Chen turned to his communications officer. Open a channel to the alien flagship, he ordered. Moments later, the snarling face of Fleet Commander Vexcor appeared on the Defiant's main view screen. Before the alien could speak, Chen addressed him in a calm, measured tone. This is Captain Eli Chen of the United Earth ship Defiant. As you can see, we are more than capable of defending ourselves against your aggression. I strongly suggest you reconsider your invasion plans. Vexcor's multiple eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of agitation in his species. This is some sort of trick. No primitive race could possess such technology. Chen's expression hardened. We are far from primitive, Commander. The shot we just fired was merely a fraction of our true capabilities. Unless you wish to see more demonstrations, I advise you to withdraw your fleet immediately. With a furious snarl, Vexcor cut the transmission. Chen turned to his crew, his face grim but determined. They're not going to back down that easily. Prepare for full engagement. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the right of all humanity to claim our place among the stars. As the Zarkov fleet regrouped, preparing to unleash their full might against this unexpected threat, the crew of the Defiant steeled themselves for the battle to come. They were outnumbered thousands to one, facing an enemy with vast experience in interstellar warfare. But they had surprise on their side, along with the culmination of 50 years of reverse-engineered alien technology and human ingenuity. As the first waves of Zarkov fighters streaked towards them, Captain Chen gave the order that would echo through human history for generations to come. All hands, battle stations. Let's show these aliens what happens when you underestimate humanity. With that, the Defiant surged forward, a lone ship against an armada, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of an entire planet. The greatest battle in Earth's history was about to begin, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. First contact. The vacuum of space erupted into a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions as the Zarkov fleet launched its first coordinated assault against the U.S. Defiant. Swarms of fighter craft, each no larger than a terrestrial jet, swarmed towards the human vessel like angry hornets. Inside the Defiant's bridge, alarms blared as Tactical Officer Lieutenant Maria Gonzalez called out, "Multiple incoming bogies, Captain," estimating over 200 fighter-class vessels on an attack vector. Captain Eli Chen's face remained impassive, but his eyes gleamed with determination. "Activate point defense grid, Lieutenant. Let's thin out their numbers. As the alien fighters closed in, expecting to overwhelm the lone human ship with sheer numbers, the Defiant's hull shimmered once again. Countless small ports opened, revealing a network of rapid-fire energy turrets. In an instant, the space around the ship lit up with a web of defensive fire. Zarkov fighters exploded left and right, unable to penetrate the surprisingly dense screen of counterfire. Those that managed to slip through found their energy weapons absorbed harmlessly by the Defiant's adaptive shields. On the Zarkov flagship, Fleet Commander Vexcor watched in growing fury as the first wave of his attack disintegrated against the human defenses. "Impossible," he screeched, slamming a clawed appendage against his command console. No single ship should be able to withstand such an assault. Sub-Commander Zarthal, ever the voice of caution, interjected, "My lord, perhaps we should consider a different approach. This human vessel clearly possesses technology beyond our initial estimates." Vexcor's multiple eyes swiveled to glare at his subordinate. "Are you suggesting we retreat, Zarthal, before this insignificant species and their lone ship?" "Not retreat, my lord," Zarthal replied carefully, "but perhaps a strategic reassessment. We could attempt to open communications, learn more about their capabilities and weaknesses." After a moment of tense silence, Vexcor nodded reluctantly. "Very well. Hail the human vessel. Let us see what these creatures have to say for themselves." Back aboard the Defiant, the bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency to repel the Zarkov assault. Dr. Amina Okafor called out from her station, "Captain, the adaptive shields are holding steady at 87%. Each hit is providing more data to refine our defenses." Chen nodded in acknowledgement. "Excellent work, Doctor. Tactical, what's the status of our—" He was interrupted by Communications Officer Ensign Yuki Tanaka. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the alien flagship." "On screen," Chen ordered, straightening in his command chair. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the intimidating visage of Fleet Commander Vexcor. The alien's voice grated through the ship's speakers. "Human vessel, you have demonstrated unexpected capabilities. We demand to know the source of your technology." Captain Chen rose from his chair, facing the alien commander with calm dignity. "Fleet Commander, I am Captain Eli Chen of the United Earth Ship Defiant. We have no obligation to reveal anything to you. You entered our solar system with hostile intent, threatened our planet, and attacked without provocation. I suggest you reconsider your actions carefully." Vexcor's mouth tendrils quivered with barely contained rage. "You dare to lecture the Zarkov Imperium? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your pitiful planet is nothing but a speck of dust to us." "And yet," Chen replied evenly, "your mighty fleet seems to be having some difficulty with this speck of dust. I'll say this once more. Withdraw your forces and leave our solar system. This is your final warning." With a snarl of fury, Vexcor cut the transmission. Chen turned to his crew, his expression grim. "Well, I think we can consider diplomacy a failure. All hands, prepare for heavy combat. They'll be throwing everything they have at us now." As if on cue, the space around the Defiant lit up with energy fire as the entire Zarkov fleet opened up with their main batteries. The human ship shields flared brilliantly as they absorbed and adapted to the onslaught. In engineering, Chief Hiroshi Tanaka worked feverishly at his console. "Captain, the strain on our systems is increasing. We can't absorb this level of firepower indefinitely." Chen's mind raced, analyzing their options. They had bloodied the alien's nose, but now the real test would begin. "Dr. Okafor, how long until the phase shift drive is ready?" The Nigerian physicist's fingers flew over her controls. "Another 3 minutes, Captain. The exotic matter injection sequence can't be rushed without risking a catastrophic overload." "Understood. Tactical, prepare to deploy countermeasures. Engineering, I need every ounce of power you can give to our shields and weapons." Chen's voice was calm but carried an edge of steel that inspired confidence in his crew. "We just need to hold out a little longer." As the Defiant maneuvered through the storm of enemy fire, occasionally returning shots that devastated Zarkov's ships, the true nature of the human vessel's capabilities began to reveal themselves. Holographic decoys sprang to life around the ship, confusing enemy targeting systems. Swarms of microdrones deployed from hidden bays, intercepting incoming missiles and kamikaze fighters. And with each passing moment, the Defiant's return fire grew more precise, more devastating, as its adaptive systems learned and evolved. On the Zarkov flagship, Vexcor watched with growing desperation as his fleet's attacks seemed to grow less and less effective. Ships that should have been able to obliterate entire planets were being picked apart by this single human vessel. "My lord," Zarthal spoke urgently, "our losses are mounting. Perhaps we should." "No," Vexcor screeched. "I will not be humiliated by these primitives. Bring us in closer. Prepare the Void Lance. We will obliterate this human ship ourselves." As the massive Zarkov flagship began to move ponderously towards the Defiant, Captain Chen recognized the shift in tactics. "They're getting desperate," he muttered. "Good. Dr. Okafor, status of the phase shift drive." "Online and ready, Captain," Amina reported triumphantly. A small smile touched Chen's lips. "Perfect timing. All hands, brace for phase shift. Helm, execute maneuver Omega-3 on my mark." The crew tensed, ready for what was to come. As the Zarkov flagship drew nearer, its forward section began to glow with an ominous dark energy, the charging void lance that could tear apart the fabric of space itself. "They're preparing to fire," Lieutenant Gonzalez shouted. Captain Chen's voice cut through the tension like a knife. "Mark." In that instant, several things happened at once. The Zarkov flagship fired its void lance, a beam of concentrated dark energy that should have annihilated anything in its path. At the same moment, the Defiant seemed to shimmer and shift, as if it were suddenly occupying multiple points in space simultaneously. The void lance passed harmlessly through empty space, continuing on to destroy several unfortunate Zarkov ships that had been positioned behind where the Defiant should have been. When the human ship reappeared, it was directly alongside the Zarkov flagship, so close that the alien vessel's shields had no time to react. "All weapons, fire," Chen commanded. The Defiant unleashed its full arsenal at point-blank range. Adaptive energy beams, graviton torpedoes, and exotic particle lances tore into the flagship's unprotected hull. Explosions blossomed along its length as the mighty vessel began to break apart. On the disintegrating bridge of his ship, Fleet Commander Vexcor stared in disbelief at the viewscreen showing the human vessel. His last thoughts before oblivion claimed him were of confusion and terror at the power this supposedly primitive race wielded. As the Zarkov flagship exploded in a spectacular ball of fire, the remaining alien fleet fell into disarray. Without central command, individual ship captains began to retreat, opening hyperspace portals to flee the devastating human warship. Aboard the Defiant, the bridge crew allowed themselves a moment of exultation. Cheers and applause broke out as the realization of their victory set in. Captain Chen smiled, allowing himself to relax slightly for the first time since the battle began. "Well done, everyone. But let's not celebrate just yet. Communications, alert Earth that the immediate threat has been neutralized. Tactical, maintain battle readiness. Some of them might decide to try for revenge." As the Defiant moved to pursue the retreating alien vessels, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and apprehension. They had won this battle against impossible odds, but he knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. The real challenges, he suspected, were only just beginning. David versus Goliath. The aftermath of the initial battle left Earth's solar system in an eerie calm. Debris from destroyed Zarkov ships drifted silently through space, a testament to the ferocity of the conflict. Aboard the U.S. Defiant, Captain Eli Chen and his crew worked tirelessly to track the retreating alien vessels and assessed their own ship's condition. In the ship's bustling engineering bay, Chief Hiroshi Tanaka wiped sweat from his brow as he pored over diagnostic readouts. "Captain," he reported via comlink, "the phase shift drive is offline. The exotic matter containment field is stable, but we've burned out several key components. We won't be able to use it again without extensive repairs." Chen's voice crackled back, tinged with concern. "Understood, Chief. How are our other systems holding up?" "Adaptive shields are at 62% efficiency and slowly regenerating. Weapon systems are operational, but our energy reserves are down to 40%. We took more of a beating than we thought, sir." On the bridge, Chen absorbed this information with a grim expression. They had bloodied the Zarkoth's nose, but at a cost. He turned to his tactical officer. "Lieutenant Gonzalez, what's the status of the alien fleet?" Maria Gonzalez's fingers danced over her console as she analyzed the sensor data. "The bulk of their forces have retreated beyond the orbit of Saturn, Captain. They've regrouped and appear to be holding position. I'm detecting extensive communications between their ships." "They're planning their next move," Chen mused. He turned to Dr. Amina Okafor, who was busily working at her science station. "Doctor, any insights on their technology based on the battle data?" Amina looked up, her eyes bright with excitement, despite the fatigue evident on her face. "Captain, their technology is incredibly advanced, but it's also predictable. Their weapons and shields operate on consistent frequencies and patterns. It's what allowed our adaptive systems to be so effective." "But," she hesitated. "Go on, Doctor," Chen encouraged. "Well, sir, I believe they were holding back. The energy readings from their flagship before it was destroyed, they were off the charts. I think we've only seen a fraction of what they're truly capable of." A tense silence fell over the bridge as the implications of her words sank in. It was Ensign Yuki Tanaka who broke it, her voice slightly trembling. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's General Voss." "On screen," Chen ordered, straightening his uniform. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the stern visage of General Helena Voss. Her eyes betrayed a mix of pride and concern as she addressed the Defiance crew. "Captain Chen, on behalf of Earth's Unified Defense Council, I commend you and your crew for your extraordinary victory. You've given humanity hope in our darkest hour." Her expression hardened. "But I'm afraid the fight is far from over. Our long-range sensors have detected a massive surge of Zarkoth reinforcements entering the solar system. They'll reach your position in less than 6 hours." Chen's jaw tightened. "Numbers, General. Conservative estimates put it at 3 times the size of the fleet you just faced." "Captain Eli, I need to know, can the Defiant hold them off?" All eyes on the bridge turned to Chen. The weight of humanity's fate pressed down on his shoulders, but his voice remained steady as he responded. "General, the Defiant has taken damage, and we're outnumbered and outgunned. But this ship and this crew are humanity's best hope. We'll find a way. We have to." Voss nodded solemnly. "Understood, Captain. Earth's remaining defense forces will do what they can to buy you time, but the bulk of this fight will fall to you. Good luck, and Godspeed." The transmission cut out, leaving the bridge in silence once more. Chen took a deep breath, then turned to address his crew. "You all heard the situation. I won't lie to you. The odds are stacked against us. But everything we love, everyone we've ever known, is counting on us to pull off another miracle." His eyes met each of his officers in turn. "I've seen what this crew is capable of. We've got the best minds humanity has to offer, and a ship full of technological surprises. So let's put our heads together and figure out how to beat these odds." For the next several hours, the Defiant became a hive of frenzied activity. In engineering, Hiroshi Tanaka led teams in pushing the ship's systems beyond their designed limits. Dr. Okafor worked with the science department to analyze every scrap of data on Zarkoth technology, searching for weaknesses to exploit. Lieutenant Gonzalez coordinated with Earth's remaining satellites and defense platforms, integrating them into a solar system-wide tactical network. As the deadline approached, Captain Chen called his senior staff to the bridge for a final briefing. "All right, people, this is it. What have we got?" Dr. Okafor stepped forward first. "Captain, we've identified a vulnerability in the Zarkoth's shielding technology. Their shields operate on a rotating frequency to prevent adaptation, but there's a nanosecond of vulnerability between each rotation. If we can time our attacks precisely, we might be able to slip our weapons through." Hiroshi nodded enthusiastically. "We've modified our weapons systems to exploit this weakness, sir. It's not much, but it should give us an edge." "Good work," Chen acknowledged. "What else?" Lieutenant Gonzalez brought up a holographic display of the solar system. "We've coordinated with Earth's remaining defenses, sir. They can't match the Zarkoth in direct combat, but they're prepared to launch guerrilla-style attacks to disrupt enemy formations. Additionally, we've reprogrammed some of our orbital satellites to act as remote weapon platforms." Chen studied the tactical display, his mind racing through potential strategies. "It's not much, but it'll have to do. We'll use hit-and-run tactics, striking hard and fast before retreating. The solar system's geography will be our ally. We'll use planets and moons for cover and to mask our movements." As the crew moved to their stations, a warning klaxon sounded. Ensign Tanaka's voice was tense as she reported, "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected, Captain. The Zarkoth fleet is arriving." The main view screen lit up with the awesome and terrifying sight of thousands of alien warships pouring into the solar system. At their center was a vessel that dwarfed even the previous flagship, a behemoth of a ship that seemed to distort space around it. "My God," someone whispered on the bridge. Captain Chen's voice cut through the moment of awe and fear. "Battle stations, everyone. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for." He sat in the command chair, his posture radiating calm determination. "Helm, set course for the asteroid belt. We'll make our stand there." As the Defiant moved to meet the oncoming alien Armada, Chen allowed himself one last quiet moment of reflection. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. Against impossible odds, they would have to prove that humanity's ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer determination could overcome even the most overwhelming force. The greatest battle in Earth's history was about to begin, and Eli Chen silently vowed that no matter the cost, humanity would emerge victorious. "All hands," he commanded, his voice steady and resolute, "prepare to engage." Turning the tide. The vastness of space erupted into a kaleidoscope of energy weapons and explosions as the Zarkoth Armada clashed with Earth's lone defender. The U.S. Defiant weaved through the asteroid belt, using the dense field of space rocks as both cover and weapon against the pursuing alien vessels. Captain Eli Chen's voice rang out clear and steady on the bridge. "Helm, execute maneuver Delta 7. Tactical, target the lead destroyer with a full spread of graviton torpedoes." The Defiant responded with fluid grace, diving behind a massive asteroid just as a barrage of Zarkoth energy beams seared through the space it had occupied a moment before. As it emerged on the other side, it unleashed a salvo of advanced weaponry. The graviton torpedoes, designed to briefly warp the fabric of space-time itself, slipped through the nanosecond gaps in the Zarkoth shields that Dr. Okafor had identified. The alien destroyer buckled and then imploded as localized gravity wells tore it apart from the inside. "Direct hit, Captain," Lieutenant Gonzalez reported, a note of triumph in her voice. "Enemy destroyer neutralized." But there was no time for celebration. The space around them lit up as dozens more Zarkoth ships opened fire, their attacks growing more coordinated and intense. In engineering, Chief Tanaka worked feverishly to keep the ship's systems operational. "Captain," he called over the comm, "the strain on our adaptive shields is increasing. We can't keep this up indefinitely." Chen nodded grimly. "Understood, Chief. Do what you can." Bridge to Dr. Okafor. How's our little surprise coming along? Amina's voice came back, tense but excited. Almost there, Captain. The quantum entanglement matrix is at 87% synchronization. We need another 10 minutes to fully integrate it with our weapon systems. You've got 5, Chen replied, his eyes fixed on the tactical display as another wave of Zarkov fighters swarmed towards them. Tactical. Deploy countermeasures. Helm, take us deeper into the asteroid field. The Defiant plunged further into the dense cluster of space rocks, its point defense systems working overtime to vaporize smaller asteroids in its path, while larger ones were used as shields against enemy fire. Holographic decoys sprang to life around the ship, confusing enemy targeting systems and drawing fire away from the real Defiant. Aboard the massive Zarkov command ship, Supreme Commander Zexkara watched the battle unfold with growing frustration. Her predecessor's failure had led to her being sent to personally oversee the subjugation of this unexpectedly troublesome world. How is one primitive vessel causing us so much difficulty? She snarled at her subordinates. Bring the Void Cleaver online. I want that human ship obliterated. As the enormous Zarkov flagship began to power up its main weapon, alarms blared on the Defiance bridge. Captain, Gonzalez called out, her voice tight with tension. I'm detecting a massive energy buildup from the enemy command ship. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. Chen's mind raced. They were out of time. Dr. Okafor, we need that quantum matrix now. 30 more seconds, Captain. Amina's voice was strained. We don't have 30 seconds, Chen muttered. Then, louder, Helm, set course directly for the Zarkov flagship. Maximum speed. The bridge crew exchanged shocked glances, but there was no hesitation in following the order. The Defiant broke free from the asteroid field, streaking towards the heart of the enemy fleet. Zexkara watched in disbelief as the human ship charged towards her. They'd gone mad, she chittered. Prepare to fire the Void Cleaver. The forward section of the Zarkov flagship split open, revealing a pulsing core of dark energy. As it prepared to unleash its devastating weapon, the space around the Defiant suddenly warped and shimmered. Quantum Matrix online, Amina shouted triumphantly. Now, Lieutenant Gonzalez, Chen ordered. The Defiant fired, but not with conventional weapons. Instead, it unleashed a concentrated burst of quantum-entangled particles, the result of months of research into the very fabric of space-time. The effect was immediate and spectacular. As the quantum-entangled particles collided with the dark energy of the Void Cleaver, they created a cascading reaction of mutual annihilation. Space itself seemed to twist and buckle around the Zarkov flagship. Zexkara had just enough time to realize the magnitude of her mistake before her mighty vessel was torn apart by forces beyond even her advanced civilization's understanding. The Void Cleaver, along with a significant portion of the Zarkov fleet caught in its radius, vanished in a blinding flash of light. As the brilliance faded, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. The remaining Zarkov ships hung motionless, their crews stunned by the sudden loss of their supreme commander and most powerful weapon. On the Defiance bridge, the crew stared in awe at the empty space where the enemy flagship had been moments before. Captain Chen was the first to break the silence. Status report, he demanded, his voice hoarse. Gonzalez shook herself out of her daze. Enemy flagship destroyed. Sir, a large portion of their fleet has been neutralized. The remaining Zarkov vessels appear to be in disarray. Chen nodded, allowing himself a small smile. Good work, everyone. But let's not celebrate just yet. Open a channel to the enemy fleet. Ensign Tanaka complied, and soon the main viewscreen displayed the image of a confused and frightened-looking Zarkov officer. This is Captain Eli Chen of the U.S. Defiant. Chen began, his voice firm and unwavering. Your supreme commander is dead. Your most powerful weapon has been destroyed. You have grossly underestimated humanity's capabilities and our resolve to defend our home. He paused, letting his words sink in. I offer you this one chance. Withdraw your forces immediately and never return to this solar system. If you choose to continue this fight, we will have no choice but to unleash the full extent of our technological capabilities. And I assure you, what you've seen so far is only the beginning. The Zarkov officer chittered nervously, conferring with others off-screen. After a tense moment, he turned back to address Chen. We will withdraw. The Imperium underestimated your species, human. This will not be forgotten. As the transmission cut off, the remaining Zarkov ships began to retreat, opening hyperspace portals to flee the solar system. A cheer erupted on the Defiance bridge, the crew finally allowing themselves to feel the full weight of their impossible victory. Captain Chen smiled, feeling a mixture of relief, pride, and exhaustion. "Well done, everyone," he said, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "Ensign Tanaka, contact Earth. Let them know the threat has been neutralized." As the Defiant began its journey back to Earth, Chen knew that this was more than just a victory against an alien invasion. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, demonstrating that they were a force to be reckoned with. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But Chen was confident that whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them with the same ingenuity, courage, and determination that had seen them through this, their greatest trial. The stars seemed to shine a little brighter as the Defiant made its way home, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of an entire species ready to claim its place in the cosmos. Triumph of ingenuity. The U.S. Defiant's return to Earth was met with jubilation and awe. As the battered but victorious ship descended through the atmosphere, crowds gathered in cities worldwide to watch its approach on massive screens. The impossible had been achieved. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged triumphant. As the Defiant touched down at a specially prepared landing site outside of New Geneva, the global capital, Captain Eli Chen and his crew were greeted as heroes. World leaders, scientists, and citizens alike clamored to catch a glimpse of the people who had saved Earth from alien domination. In the days that followed, as the crew underwent debriefings and the Defiant was meticulously studied by teams of engineers and scientists, the full impact of their victory began to sink in. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had announced its presence on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. 2 weeks after the Defiant's return, Captain Chen found himself standing before the United Earth Council, the planet's governing body. The chamber was packed, with representatives from every nation, and millions more watching the proceedings via holographic broadcasts. Council President Adaman Nkrumah, a statuesque woman from Ghana, addressed the assembly. "Captain Chen, you and your crew have accomplished what many thought impossible. You've not only saved our world but potentially changed the course of human history. The Council would like to hear your thoughts on where we go from here." Chen stepped forward, his posture straight but his eyes reflecting the weight of recent events. "Thank you, Madam President, honored Council members. What we've achieved is indeed monumental, but it's crucial that we understand this is just the beginning." He paused, gathering his thoughts. The Zarkov Imperium is just one of what I suspect are many advanced civilizations out there. Some may be friendly, others hostile. But one thing is clear. We can no longer afford to be isolated or unprepared. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber as Chen continued. The Defiant was built using technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship found decades ago. It represents the pinnacle of human ingenuity combined with advanced alien tech. But it's not enough. He gestured to Dr. Amina Okafor and Chief Hiroshi Tanaka, who stood nearby. "Thanks to the brilliant minds on my crew and the data we gathered during the battle, we now have insights into technologies far beyond our current understanding. Faster than light travel, energy manipulation on a cosmic scale, even the ability to bend the fabric of space-time itself." The chamber fell silent, hanging on his every word. "I propose that we establish a new organization, the Terran Defense and Exploration Initiative. Its mission will be twofold: to protect Earth from future threats and to push the boundaries of our knowledge and reach into the stars. Excited whispers broke out among the council members. President Nkrumah leaned forward, intrigued. "And how do you suggest we accomplish this, Captain?" Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. "By doing what humans do best, adapting, innovating, and never backing down from a challenge. We'll need to pour resources into research and development, expanding our fleet, and establishing off-world colonies to ensure humanity's survival." He turned to address the entire chamber. "But most importantly, we need to come together as a species. The petty rivalries and conflicts of the past must be set aside. The Defiance crew came from all corners of the Earth, and it was our unity and diverse perspectives that allowed us to triumph." The council chamber erupted into applause, with many members rising to their feet. President Nkrumah smiled broadly. "I believe I speak for the entire council when I say your proposal has our full support, Captain Chen. The Terran Defense and Exploration Initiative will be established immediately, with you at its helm." As the applause continued, Chen felt a mix of pride and apprehension. The road ahead would be challenging, but for the first time in history, humanity was truly united with a common purpose. In the months and years that followed, Earth underwent a transformation. The Defiance technology was studied and replicated, leading to breakthroughs in energy production, medicine, and space travel. New ships were built, each more advanced than the last, as humanity prepared to take its first real steps into the cosmic community. 5 years after the Zarkoth invasion, Captain, now Admiral, Eli Chen stood on the bridge of the TDE's Horizon, Earth's first true exploratory vessel. As he gazed out at the star-filled expanse before them, he felt a sense of déjà vu, mixed with excitement for the unknown. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Maria Gonzalez, now his first officer, reported, "all systems are green. We're ready for our first jump." Chen nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "Thank you, Commander." He turned to address the bridge crew, seeing the same mix of nervousness and anticipation he felt mirrored in their faces. 5 years ago, we fought to defend our home. Today, we take our first steps towards becoming part of something greater. Whatever we find out there, be it wonders or dangers, we face it together as representatives of Earth and the human spirit. He sat in the command chair, feeling the familiar thrill of embarking on a new mission. Helm, initiate jump sequence. Let's see what's out there. As the Horizon's engines hummed to life, preparing to propel them faster than light for the first time, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and not only survived but thrived. They had taken the threat of extinction and turned it into an opportunity for growth and exploration. The stars outside the viewscreen began to elongate as the jump drive engaged. In that moment, as Earth's first exploratory vessel leaped into the unknown, Eli Chen knew that whatever the universe held in store, humanity was ready. They had proven their worth among the stars, and now it was time to claim their place in the grand tapestry of the cosmos. The horizon vanished in a flash of light, carrying with it the hopes, dreams, and indomitable spirit of the human race. No longer bound to one world, but destined for the infinite possibilities that awaited them among the stars.